Hello everyone, welcome to the online class of Environmental Studies. I am Kirtika Singh, your EVS teacher, and I hope you all are fine at your home.
Here I am going to explain lesson number 4, that is breathing in, breathing out. In this lesson we will discuss following topics, that is breathing, organs that help in breathing, lungs, inhalation and exhalation, diaphragm, why do we breathe, what do we breathe out, breathing rate, stethoscope, cooling by blowing, warming by blowing, in the last recap shots. Breathing. When you will keep your hands on your chest, you will feel the rhythmic movements. Have you wondered what is happening? So, the answer is you are breathing. You are taking in air and also giving out air. Breathing is the physical process of exchange of gases. While breathing, air enters through our nostrils and reaches the lungs. Oxygen is taken into the body and carbon dioxide is released. In the picture, you can see that we get oxygen from plants and plants take in carbon dioxide during day. Humans, plants, and animals, they all breathe. Organs that help in breathing: nasal cavity, pharynx, larynx, that is also known as voice box, trachea, it is known as windpipe, bronchi, lungs, bronchioles, alveoli, that is also known as air sac, diaphragm. All these organs play a major role in the process of breathing. The important organ, that is lungs. Lungs are the two balloon-like bags inside the chest present in the bony rib cage. They are located on either side of the chest. In the picture you are able to see the rib cage, that it is the basket-like skeletal structure that protects the lungs and heart from the external injury, and the number of rib cage bones are from 1 to 12 in human beings. Process of breathing. The air which we breathe in enters the nasal cavity. Nasal cavity is the large air-filled space inside our nose. It is lined with a mucous membrane that keeps our nose moist by making mucus, so we would not get nose bleed from a dry nose. Mucus is a normal slippery fluid substance, act as a trap for the dust, smoke and bacteria. In the nasal cavity, nose hairs are also present that keep the particles from entering our body. It also reduces allergies and infections. From the nasal cavity, the air will pass to the pharynx. Now, the question is, what is pharynx? Pharynx is the passageway that involves the passage of food and air into its appropriate pathways. It serves both respiratory and digestive function. It is also called as throat. From here, the air will reach to larynx. Larynx or voice box is located in the neck and performs several important functions. inside the body. The larynx is involved in swallowing, breathing, and voice production. So, from larynx, the air passes to trachea. The trachea serves as passage for air, moistens and warm it, while it passes into the lungs and protects the respiratory surface from dust and bacteria. The trachea leads from larynx to the bronchi. The trachea is also known as windpipe. Now, air will reach to bronchi. And now the question is, what is bronchi? Bronchi are the main passageway into the lungs. The function is to carry air from trachea to the right and left side of lungs. Now the air will reach from trachea to bronchioles. The bronchioles are tubes in the lungs which branch off from the large bronchi that enters each lung. Bronchioles are one of the smallest airways in the respiratory tract and directly lead to alveoli. Alveoli is the tiny air sacs at the end of bronchioles. The alveoli are where the lungs and the blood exchange oxygen and carbon dioxide during the process of breathing in and breathing out. Then the oxygen is mixed with the blood and through blood cells, oxygen rich blood transported to the different parts of the body with the help of heart. With the help of this flow chart, we can easily understand that during breathing process, the air reached from nostrils to nasal cavity to pharynx and then larynx, trachea, bronchus, bronchioles, alveoli to the blood. Same pathway is for the exhalation of the air from the body. Inhalation and exhalation. Breathing in is called inhalation and breathing out is called exhalation. In the picture, it is clearly visible the position of the lungs during the inhalation and the exhalation. Diaphragm, a big flat muscle at the bottom of the rib cage, is called diaphragm. It plays an important role in the breathing as its altering movements help us to inhale and exhale. In the picture, you can see the red portion that is showing the diaphragm and it is downside of the rib cage. Now the question is, how do we inhale and exhale? During breathing, the rhythmic movements of the chest that you feel are because of the contraction and expansion of the lungs. The muscles of the rib cage and the diaphragm bring about the movement in the chest cavity. In the picture, you can see the size of the chest cavity and the position of the diaphragm in the inhalation process and in the exhalation process. So, during inhalation, the rib cage moves up and outward and diaphragm flattens out, thus the chest cavity increases in size. During exhalation, the rib cage moves down and inward, and the diaphragm becomes dome shaped, thus decreasing in the size of the chest cavity. This is the process. This is how do we inhale and exhale. Why do we breathe? Every part of the body needs oxygen to survive. Everyday functions of the body, like digesting our food, moving your muscle, and even just thinking, needs oxygen. That's why we breathe. As we all know that we get energy from the food, and if we will not eat food properly, we will feel weak. The air we breathe has oxygen, and that is utilized to release the energy from food. Then oxygen is transported to all the parts of the body and to each cell. Then oxygen is used by the cell to break down the food which we eat and release the stored energy. The process of breaking down of food with the release of energy is known as respiration. What we breathe out after the process of production of energy, the carbon dioxide and water vapor is released. The carbon dioxide is again mixed with the blood, and it is released out in alveoli. Then the carbon dioxide reaches to bronchioles, bronchus, trachea, larynx, pharynx to nasal cavity, and from nasal cavity the oxygen is released out from the body. The air which we breathe out is warm and moist. Breathing rate. Have you noticed how many times you breathe in a minute? Does your breathing rate change just after a run? Yes, it becomes faster. So the question is, what is breathing rate? Number of inhalation and exhalation taken within a set amount of time, inhaling gases and exhaling carbon dioxide. Normal respiration rate or breathing rate of a person at rest is 15 to 18 times. Whenever we do any physical work like playing, running, exercising, our breathing rate is faster because we need more energy to do any physical work or activity, and more oxygen is needed to release that energy. Stethoscope. You must have seen a doctor using a stethoscope to check your heartbeat. A stethoscope can be used to listen to someone's heartbeat, lungs, inhalation, and exhalation. Cooling by blowing. While sipping a hot cup of tea, we blow it occasionally to make it cooler. When we blow on the tea, we are blowing the hot air above the tea away so that the hot air particles can move away, and the hot air above the tea get replaced by the room temperature air. That's why the tea then loses some more of the heat to that cooler room temperature air. Now, how do you put out a candle? You blow at it and the flame goes out. How does this happen? When you blow across a burning candle, you blow away the heat faster than it can be generated by the flame. So, even though you still have the wax and lots of air, the flame goes out. Your breath has cooled the fuel, warming by blowing. Do you warm your palm in the winter by blowing on them when they are cold? In winter, the air that you blow out is warm as compared to the outside temperature. You feel the warmth of the air that you blow out on your palms. Have you seen an angithi on blowing on the piece of coal? The fire grows and keep going. So this is why, because the oxygen fans the flame of a big fire, and the picture you can see on the slide. Now in the last recap shots. Breathing is a physical process of inhaling oxygen and exhaling carbon dioxide. It includes inhalation of oxygen and exhalation of carbon dioxide. Breathing involves the following organs: nasal cavity, pharynx, larynx, trachea, bronchi, and bronchioles. Lungs having air sacs and diaphragm. During inhalation, the rib cage moves up and outward and the diaphragm flattens out, due to which the chest cavity increases in size. During exhalation, the rib cage moves down and inward and the diaphragm becomes dome shaped, thus decreasing in the size of the chest cavity. At rest, we breathe 15 to 18 times a minute, but while doing exercises, our breathing rate increases. We can both cool a substance and warm up something by blowing.
This is all about the explanation of this lesson. Thank you so much. Stay home, stay safe.